Okay, so the homework, this one, this one, this one, and this one, it's just doing what you did on the first page. So just solve it algebraically and then give a visual picture of it, okay? Let's go to this one. It looks like all you got to do is take this, plug it in for x, and go from there. But this time, this one is y, so you plug it in for y. This seems like a really good quiz question. All right, let's turn the page. Inequalities, there's definitely going to be inequalities on your quiz. So you are clear on equalities, but let's focus on inequalities. So I'm going to do letter B, and then you'll do the rest, and you can look up videos if you don't remember how to do it. So absolute value of x minus 3 is less than or equal to 3. So remember how when you had absolute value, you split it? You still do the same thing. So you have x minus 3 is less than or equal to 3. But then the other one would be x minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 3. So you switch the sign and make it negative. Where before, if I had the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 3, you would go x minus 3 equals 3, x minus 3 equals negative 3. You can't switch around the equal sign because it's still an equal sign, but you can make the positive negative. So it's similar. Now you solve x is less than or equal to 6, x is greater than or equal to 0. Then you have to decide how, when you graph it, how it's going to look. So 0 closed, greater than means this way. This is 6, less than or equal to this way. So it's everything in between. So that means in set notation, I guess the answer is 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 6. And in interval notation, it's 0, 6, there. Okay? You could have a situation where it was like this, where you ended up with the absolute value of x, the absolute value of x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 3. Let me just show this one and how it's similar but different, okay? So then what I would do is I would split it. X minus 3 greater than or equal to 3. X minus 3 less than or equal to negative 3. X is greater than or equal to 6. S is less than or equal to 0. But here, the 0 and the 6, this is x is greater than or equal to 6. And this is x is less than or equal to 0. So it's this or this. So that would be the answer for that one. So then in interval notation, it would be negative infinity 0. And then it would be 6 positive infinity. Okay, so notice the difference between this. It's going, they're separate versus the other one, they're together. Okay, and if that's something you need help with, feel free, I can go over it during the Zoom. All right, this is the graph where a lot of you had a hard time because I said I didn't go over it very much. That's the one where when you have the parent function, it looks like this. So the shape is called a hyperbola because it's a parabola and another parabola. It's more than one. They call it hyperbola. Hyperbola. Okay? So the vertex is the same thing. What's with the x? Do the opposite. What's with the y? Straight shooter. That would be the vertex. So normally, in a sense here, the vertex is 0, 0. What that means is these two parabola-looking things never touch x equals 0 and never touch y equals 0. In this case, that means this hyperbola is never going to touch at negative 5 and never going to touch at positive 7 for the y. So this would be at negative 5. So this is x equals negative 5. And this is never going to touch at 7, which is y equals 7. So it's still top right. Sorry, it's not really pretty. And bottom left. See how this is top right, bottom left. By the way, this would be a vertical stretch by a factor of 4, but that's kind of hard to write. This one, they want an equation, it looks like, of this. So what's important? The vertex. What else is important? Try to find another point to find out if there's a vertical stretch or not. Okay? Even or odd, remember that's when you plug in negative x, and if it's the same thing, it's even. If it's the opposite, it's odd. But if it's same and opposite, it's neither. Okay? This one, they want you to write it in exponential form, or equivalent form, I'm sorry. So if this is in square root form, in a sense, they want you to write it in exponential form. So that would be m to the 1/9. And I think I've gone over that before. If I have x to the 1/4, that's the 4th root of x. If I have the 5th root of y, that's y to the 1/5. And you can do those two problems, and that's your homework.